Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today on the Flux Laser. I apologize if the audio sounded a little garbled just a few minutes ago. Hopefully this sounds better. My name is George, French Privateer. I'm with the Marvin here at Johnson Plus. We've got a great webinar today. We're going to show you all about the Flux Laser. Now, if you haven't seen on our website the Flux Laser, you're going to love this demo today because we're going to show you two different lasers. We've got two our top people who are going to be presenting our website. We've got Caitlin Toohey, who is our marketing manager here at Johnson Plastics Plus, and Chris White, who is one of our advanced support people. He knows the Flux laser in and out. We're excited about that. A few items though. First, if you are hearing, you can try and hop out of the webinar, hop back in. Sometimes that clears up the connection. Or if you'd like to, you can go ahead and dial in on the phone, and that will help that as well. So we've got the questions on the right-hand side of your screen. See a little questions drop down. Please type those in here. We will be answering them offline, and we'll also answer some of them with Chris and Caitlin during. And then finally, if you are on a mobile device or an iPad, or we will be using multiple cameras today, so we'll be flipping back and forth between some cameras. You need to swipe up and down on your to see the other cameras. If you're on a PC, you should just see those pop. Should be no problem. And we're showing some of the software that goes with the Flux lasers today as well. So all of that said, let's have a great webinar. And I think we're going to this over to Caitlin and Chris. Caitlin and Chris, if you would, take it away.
George.
Thanks, George.
So like George said, Caitlin and I've got Chris here today, and we're going to walk you through some of the differences between the three Flux lasers. These are lasers. You can see them behind us. They are small, so they'll fit on a tabletop. I'm going to walk you through the differences of the that we carry. Today here with us, we've got the BEMO, which is our 30-watt laser, and the BeamBox. So Chris, can you us through what some differences are between the three lasers?
Sure. So, said we have three different lasers. We have two of them with us today. The one is the small one here. It's the BEMO, 30 watts. As far as bed goes, you're looking at about 8 by 12 workable air in bed. These are all CO2, and people in the industry maybe know of different types of lasers, but what we're talking about today primarily CO2 lasers.
Go any further? What's the maximum depth of these lasers? So how thick of material can they stick in there to engrave?
The maximum depth of the beam is about 1 3/4 inches. Now that's material thickness. That doesn't mean it can cut.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the maximum thickness that it can handle. But as far as cutting, you're looking at about 3/16 an inch, roughly, and that has to do with the laser focus and all that kind of thing, which we later. The larger beam box is a little bit deeper, go up to about 3/8 of an inch deep on that guy, and you're looking at 3/8 of an inch deep without the same cutting depth.
Awesome.
So we have a couple guys today. We have the BEMO laser. Have it set up with the optional rotary, which we're going to show kind of what it's like to engrave a tumbler. And then we have the setup in the BeamBox Pro here, which will show engraving a flat product or a flat media. I'm going to do this right here.
Can you tell us some of the unique these Flux lasers?
Sure. A couple that are pretty notable about these. They have internal cooling systems that are easily maintained. You simply just need to kind of monitor the watt that you put into them. It circulates off when it's running, and then turns off when it doesn't need to run. You can water and put new in maybe once or so. So it's very easy guard. It has a built-in for fume extraction, and that turns off with the job as well. They both have rotary accessories that you can install. There's a couple different, two different models, and they kind of have different attributes to them. This is the optional rotary accessory for the Beambox Pro laser, whereas the BMO laser, the rotary device installed on the bottom of the laser. Kind of recommend that you get people to kind of install this, just because you have to lift the whole laser up, put it under there. It's a big unit that takes up the entire space of the laser itself, whereas this one actually gets placed into the bed. Few things there. There's also built-in air assist, which anyone that's run a CO2 laser before will know that air assist is a very valuable tool to have, kind of manage kind of help get better cuts and engravings depending on the material. So.
Awesome, thank you. So what about safety features on these lasers?
So safety, these lasers are very safe. They're completely contained. The laser beam, I should say, is completely contained inside the box. When you open those, they have sensors that will tell the laser that the lid's open or that it's closed. It's open. That disables the ability for the laser to actually fire. Like the machine can move, but the fire unless sensors trip the door closed, and that's for all the models.
What about our air filtration units? Are they required to have those? Do we sell those? Can you tell us a little bit about?
Sure. So we do sell an air extraction system for the lasers. It's optional, but I recommend that you use just to filter that air out. Obviously, you don't pump the air out into your room that you're working. If you don't want to use an air system, another option would maybe put the pipe maybe out a window or an open door to the outdoors or something like that. But ideally, you want the extraction system. We have what's called the Beam Air fume extractor. What's really about it is it has the standard kind of filters you would expect for a laser: pre-filter, mid-filter, charcoal, HEPA filters. But also has is a USB connection that will go into the back of the printers or the lasers. So you can basically, when you start a job, the laser will tell the extractor unit to turn on, and then also when to turn off when the job is done. So there's no fiddling you have to really do with it.
And that's unique from maybe sensors of this size, like.
Yes. You can get other types of filtering units, but they don't necessarily communicate with the laser itself. You have to manually control it usually.
One question.
Okay.
Sure.
Can you explain a little bit more about the benefits of having a filtration system if you're running a laser?
Sure. So the benefits are that it captures all of that smoke, debris, and fumes and things that are generated when you laser any product. It could be wood, faux leather, plastic, or you just don't want to put that into the environment that you're working, because it's not good for you. And you really want to capture that into something like the filtration unit. So if nothing else from a health standpoint, it's really
And when you engrave wood material, I think you notice the most. It actually you can see the smoke come from the material. So if you watch it, all the extraction unit pulls the smoke and out into the filter.
Yeah, and the built-in fans that are in the backs of these units will filter that smoke by itself. But again, you want something on the other side of that too to capture that, which is where the filtration unit comes in.
Oh, it looks, that cropped up another question is, how will we know if I'm buying the products from John 6 Plus that are safe to put in the laser?
So I'll take that question. Chris and the other members of his team really hard all of the materials that we sell on John 6 Plus. So every material that we're showing you here today and everything on our site has been tested by either Chris or someone on his team. And we also have recommended settings on our website. So if you go and you look at, for example, cast acrylic, you go into the tips, we have recommend settings, we have templates for you to download. On some of the pages we have artwork file download as well. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and jump demo here. So we're going to show you on the BMO here how to use the rotary attachment. Actually, it is a complicated process, like Chris explained. It does take people to lift the top of the laser up and to place it in. So we've actually already got a rotary attachment in there. But Chris did a job creating a how-to video, and that's available on our website and also our YouTube channel that you watch step by step how to put that attachment in there. But we're going to go ahead and show you how to engrave one of our engraved powder-coated tumblers here. We can switch to our cameras here. Sorry.
Cam?
You want to go ahead and share your screen?
Sure.
All right, so Chris is going to pull what we Flux software or what comes with the Flux lasers. This is Beam Studio, and he's going to walk us through how easy it is to import your. So we've already created this graphic here, Nurse Life. We used Adobe Illustrator to create that, but you use CorelDRAW or download an SV or a PNG from and import it into Beam Studio. So we design the artwork. Chris is going to walk us through the steps on how to get artwork from Beam Studio to start engraving in the laser.
Yep. Thanks, Caitlin. So the software with every laser is called Beam Studio. Said it is a design software where if you look on screen here, you basic tools for designing. So you have your image placement tool, you have a text tool, and then a couple of kind of geometric shape tools that you can use to create your artwork right into Beam Studio if you want. However, I think most users of the laser may already be familiar with one of the graphic softwares that are out there that are on the market, like CorelDRAW, etc. And most people generally like to create their artwork, manipulate the artwork in programs like that. So when you do that, for instance, here I have CorelDRAW. For instance, this graphic here is the one we're going to put onto our Tumbler today, and this is CorelDRAW. So you have your artwork set up and ready to go. You can import it from your design software by doing like a file export command thing. I've already done that, so minimize that. And then when you get into Studio here, you simply hit picture tool or the image tool here, and that will prompt you to open up a job into Beam Studio, and that's what we've done right here. So one feature of the printers here, lasers here, I keep saying printers, they have a camera built into the head of the laser, and that's really beneficial because what we'll do first is going to take a picture of the bed, and by doing that, we're going to see where our product is or our sheet running. So then you can simply place right on top exactly where you want to go, and then when you send the job, it goes the job engraves exactly where you're intended to, without any question or any kind of wondering, right? So oops, kick the camera there. So jumping over to the laser here real quick. Okay. So looking at the BMO here, open up the lid here. You can see down in the bed here, we actually have our device already installed. Now, if the rotary was not installed, what you would have is the actual bed of the laser itself, which is just a metal plate that comes out of the laser here. That metal plate is what we call a honeycomb cutting grid. Kind of a term that everybody uses. And this is what you would use for flat material, which we'll talk more about this one to the Beambox Pro. But all this would come out the bottom, and you would simply place the rotary device laser and set the laser down on top of it. There's a little cable that plugs the bottom of the laser so that the laser can communicate with the rotary device. So down in the laser here, this is kind of our rotary. I'm not sure if you can see from this angle, but back here, there's a little knob that lets you adjust the width of these rollers here. So you can make them closer or further apart, and that's necessary. Different diameter drinkware or cylindrical objects. So we got our cup here. Going to place this guy in here. What we first want to do though is take the lid, because we have these protrusions here to get in the way if we don't take that over. So remove that. It's a nice smooth cylindrical sides here. Now, if you notice how the design of these are, they're Strauss, and there's no elevation adjustment. So this drinkware actually has a taper to it. It's smaller at the bottom or at the top, and it kind of tapers middle here. So we got to account for that in order for this to work properly. So one thing we created for specifically this tumbler, and we have for other tumblers as well. It's kind of what I guess what I call elevation, an elevation disc. And this is a file you can download from our website and cut it out on your laser, and the tool yourself, which is kind of a nice feature, because you will need it for the tapered drinkware. So we did that. We cut it out of plain acrylic. We're just going to put this on bottom.
Chris, find that that elevation disc, guys, and to download it themselves.
It should on the downloads tab of the drinkware on our site. Just the same place you find the tech for all our products. So just place it on there. Don't want to shove it on there hard. We just want it snug. And then we can place it right on our rollers here. And you can't see from this angle, but we have these rollers spaced far apart just enough to where the not actually touching the bottom of the rotary down here. We don't want it to be touching, because then it's not going to turn and engrave. So we have it elevated just a tiny bit, just enough for what we need it to do. And you can kind of test, actually, if you want to just kind of wiggle it a little. You can test to make sure that you have tact on the drinkware. If you can turn the drinkware and these rollers don't turn equally with it, then it's probably going to slip while it's running, and your engraving's not out correctly. So to do. Okay. So now what we want to do is manually move our laser head over top of the drinkware, and one quick, if you can't really move the laser arm, you don't force it. That means the laser's in some where you have to maybe back out of maybe a maintenance menu or something like that. That's for moving this. It should move freely. So just remember not to force it. It should be moved freely. So we'll move it over to our drinkware here. Here, this is the laser head right here. This is where our focus beam is, and also our air assist tube is right here as well. The way we focus head to our drinkware is to rotate down this little spacer here. It's right. I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe you can see that somewhat. We want to move it down to where it's completely up and down. And then we'll move it over top of our drinkware here. We want to kind of eyeball it so it's about as we can get it, just by looking at it there. If you have to, you may need to adjust this set screw a little bit. So you just unloosen it. You can move this up and down then. And if you have to, maybe far down like this. So what you may have to at first, pull it over top of your drinkware, and you want this bowl just to kind of rest right on top of the drinkware, and to get it as best you can and over top where at the highest point of the drink. Sorry about that. Just touch something there. Okay, so once we have that, we'll go ahead and just tighten this the set screw back down. Just finger. Don't want to over tighten it. And then we want the focus tool out of the way, and you can test moving over top of there just to make sure nothing's hitting or anything like that. And from there, we can just leave it and let it sit. We'll close the lid, jump back over to our layout, I should say. Now, in the Beambox, or in the software, we do need a couple things I've already done. In what the document settings menu here, we need to actually add the rotary attachment, which I've done. And when you do that, you get a blue line right here. I'll move it up and down. This blue line is real important, and I'll come back to that in just a second. But what we're going to do first is I'm going to take a picture of the bed, so we can see where our drinkware is on the bed itself, place our artwork. So to do that, what we're going to do is go to this camera icon at the, click on that, hit the camera plus button in this menu. Well, we have two lasers connected at the same time on the same software, so we got to tell it which laser we want it to do. We want it to focus with. I'm going to select BEAMO right here instead of the box. We'll go BEAMO. It says, hey, your area is a little bit bigger than what the BEAMO has. We understand that, so we'll say yes, and it's going to readjust the workspace to fit the laser. And now the laser will home itself first. We have our little icon here, the little camera icon. You can see up top here, there's an area, and we'll come back to this when we get into the Beambox later. But what we want to do here is we just want to click over the space that we think that our drinkware is sitting in, which obviously is going to be right in the middle of the bed. So go ahead and just click and drag over like this, and it's going to go ahead and take a picture of a bed full. And you notice that it's a series of photos and kind of stitch them together. You're going to see those together aren't exactly pretty, but that's not really the point. The point is to be functional. It's to see where your object is, or your blank, or your sheet, or just for placement purposes.
Hey, Chris, one more question.
Sure.
So the question is, am I able to design outside of this BEAMO software?
So the software is, or the BEAMO software is not designed to be design software. You would still need Corel or Illustrator or some other design platform, and then you would export your design there and import it into the Beam Studio.
Yeah, you can do some basic editing in Beam Studio, but it's really lacking in terms of like the variety of tools that you get in like an Illustrator or Corel or something. So you're probably going to find that use software is going to be much better for you. Okay, I didn't account for something here. We actually ran into the little spacer disc here, and it kind of bumped our cup. So I should have thought of that. And I apologize. So I'm gonna just check and make sure we're in position where we should be. Let me back out of the camera mode here so I can move the arm. Let's try that.
So that was a good example of what Chris had there. He couldn't move that arm. It was in camera mode. So he made sure to go back over to his software and make that, it wasn't locked up.
Yeah, and this is something you should look out for when you're doing drinkware, especially tapered drinkware. You do have to account for that spacer disc that's in there. It does protrude high enough for that head to hit. So kind of see where the cup was before. So I can actually use this photo that's on here now to redo the photo, where to kind of stop the area that I wanted to take a picture there, where I didn't know that before because I didn't have any frame of reference before. So we'll go back into our camera mode here. Real quick. We'll just take another picture of the bed here. Now, since I know the disc is here on the right a ways, I'm just going to drag over about 2/3 of the bed instead of the entire bed like I did before. And then that's to take pictures of the area that I just showed it, but it's not going to go far enough to hit that disc again. Oh. So hasn't hit it yet, so I think and we can still see majority of our tumblers. We're still good. Almost done. All right. So now we got our picture bed. Now with this return button, we're going to go back to our layout screen. We picture in the back here, and once you're back into the layout side of the software, you can't do anything with this photo at this point. It's kind of in the background now, which is just fine. So now I'm going to scoot my arm here just a minute, and we'll go back to the line real quick. With the rotor mode turned on, we're going to take this blue line now, kind of center it over top of where our tumbler is right here. We're just going to do the best we can to kind of center it in there. And what this blue line is, you're probably wondering by now, this line is telling the laser to come down and stay at the position that this line is in, because what's going to happen is the cup's going to turn, but the laser head's going to move left to right, and the cup is turn as opposed to the whole kind of wax of the laser down the bed like a traditional laser would do. So we're defining where we want that arrow and stay on the x-axis, and it won't keep moving. That's centered. I got my artwork right here. I'm just going to bring it up, and with that line, I'm also use that to kind of center my artwork on the drinkware where I want it to go. Right about there. You see my two nodes right there are lined right up with that line. So we're good there. So now we can go over, if we're happy, I'm happy with that. Hopefully everybody else is too. And we're going to go over and set our settings now. So operators of CO2 lasers, if you're already familiar with CO2 lasers and how to, you might already know, there's kind of basic modes that CO2 lasers use to create things. That would be raster engraving and vector cutting. There's two modes. Raster engraving is when the head moves, vaporizes the surface of your material and does away the surface and create your image on the surface of your product. Where is the laser beam is constant, and it's enough to actually go through your material and cut out shapes. Like
This is a good example of that. So this would be vector cutting alcohol here, and then I know it's from the camera, but we'll show it up close. But the raster engraving, removing or
vaporizing the surface and creating contrast. That's the main goal there. So I bring that the Flux lasers and the Beam Studio software doesn't distinguish between vector cutting and raster engraving in the traditional sense. We have to kind of tell it what settings we want and kind of make a speed setting that would be appropriate for engraving, or for cutting we want them to make settings that are appropriate for cut. That would be like, so for raster engraving, what we're going to do here, we're going to do a faster and a lower power. So we want it to go fast and have a little bit lower power, because again, we're cutting through anything in this sort of job here. Okay. So what's kind of nice too is the Flux, the software here kind of tells you what you're working with. If you look at the power and speed slider bars here, you know, a lot of green, and then it goes red, yellow, and then into red. And this color, these sliders adjust on if it detects graphic going to be raster engraved, or if it detects like vector lines that are going to be cut. Like if it was going to be cutting, you would see a whole lot more red here and a lot less green, because actually in the speed it would do that. A whole lot more red and a lot less speed, because it's encouraging you to run on the laser slow cut versus engrave. Okay, but right now we're looking at engraving. All right, so for this guy, kind of tested this out before, so I kind of know a good setting for this particular cup. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide the power slider here, about 25% power, and the speed here, default settings for how fast it measures the speed of the laser is in millimeters per second. There's a good reason that we keep it in millimeters per second, which I'll get into in a little. But we're going to adjust the speed up to about 203 millimeters per second.
So Chris, if they hadn't already this out, where could they find recommended settings to get started with?
Best, because that's going to go with this millimeter thing. one really beneficial that comes with the software and these lasers is the ability to automatically load what we call laser power grids. I don't want to load one right now because I'll lose all my work, but basically in this here we have the ability to load several different basically charts, and they're grid different power and speed combinations, and you can automatically load that and run it. You don't have to set or anything. So like for instance, if we were going to have a new piece of material for the first time, it would be worth it to run a laser power grid. You can get an idea of the setting that's going to work best for your laser, your particular setup, your material, or at least get a range of work with. So this is the ability to set that up and do it all, and that's what we would recommend.
Okay.
All
Awesome.
right. Yeah. All right, so we got our settings here, 204. That's pretty good. So we'll go with that. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the go button here. And again, we have the two lasers connected. I'm going to tell it to go to the BMO laser here. That's the one we want. So we'll say go. It's going to kind of do some calculations. It's going to give us a preview here. It will also give us a estimated run, and this run time is about 10.5 minutes for this engraving. The reason is because I'm running it at a little bit higher resolution setting, because on rotary objects, the little bit higher resolution gives you a little bit better result experience. So we're going to run it like that. I've found these time estimations to be so I think that's something you can kind of bank on when you're running this. So go ahead and hit start, and then I'll just upload up, and it should start running for us. So we got the job here. You notice maybe that our filtrated turned on automatically. That's again one of the features about the flux lasers. And then it'll turn itself off when the screen of the laser as well will show your job. It'll actually show a picture of the job right on screen, and then it'll show you the percentage of how long it's been running, how much longer it has to go. You can pause it. You can do some other things on the screen too. So pretty cool.
So while that's our background, we're going to show you the other safe materials that we sell on Plastics Plus. So we've got examples here. All of these materials will fit in these lasers that we're showing you today. So they all are desktop laser size. So you don't have to cut down the sheet materials. Get most of these in 12 sizes or 12, which is the size of these beds behind. The first one here I'm going to show you is made out of a couple of the materials. We've combined our different material to make this a Be Mine sign here that we made. So the backer piece here is made out of and then our border or frame border here is made of plywood material, and our plywood material is got an MDF core and then wood veneer sheet on top of it, so it's double-sided, and that is laser safe material. So we've taken in that wood material and then used adhesive, cut it out to put on the back side so that we could attach it to this cast acrylic. And then the Be Mine letters is out of one of my favorite materials that we brought on, which is our craft plastic. And our craft plastic actually comes in 12 by 12 sheets in these nice packages, and it's got 4 sheets in each package. So we've got lots of different color options in the craft plastic. This is a very good material, so it's perfect to put in a laser or to use with her or any other vinyl plotter. You can apply it to the back side of this. We've got lots of different color options. We've got the standard white and clear, and then we've also got some a sample here. And I've got one of our sample packs here, which is our. It comes with 8 colors in it instead of the no 4. But we've got some colors that's got nice like pink in it with summer color palette. Got one that has clear gray, black, and silver, but all nice in here. Give you some ideas, design ideas. And then we'll just up here of the B model sign we've made. So as you can see here, the cat acrylic is at like a glossy finish to. We've got a matte finish on the wood sheet, and then the craft plastic also has a matte finish here. And that adhesive off, it's on there good. We sell the adhesive on our site. So you would apply adhesive to the back side of your material before putting it in the laser engraver, and you would apply it to acrylic once you've cut it all out. It's a very cool piece here, just showing how you can use all the different laser safe materials that we sell and combine them together to make a sign or decor piece. So I talked a little bit about acrylic already, but we do have a very wide selection of colors. I only have a handful of them here to show you guys today. But so as you can see, we have solid casted acrylic, and then we also sell, which is cool, very vibrant, fluorescent casted acrylic. You can't really see it on the screen here, but it is really fluorescent, and it has the edge glow on it. Okay, so first question is thickness. The casted acrylic in here. So this is 1/8 inch.
So that comes in 1/8. And then the question is, can you cut 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch unit of cardboard panel into custom shapes?
Of course. Yeah. We don't have that material here to show you today and cut on the laser, but I do have another really similar product. It's sublimation that I can show you next. So we just brought this material on. So it is approximately a by 12 sheet, and this is laser safe and also can be sublimated. So you could cut a custom decal like this here. Actually cut out a dog head, and then you would then print out your transfer on your sublimation printer. So it's completely custom. You couldn't cut that out with anything else other than a laser. And then you would take that blank cutout and put it with your transfer, put it in the heat press, and then you have a completely custom dog head keychain or this car charm. Could be really anything. The unique thing about this material is you don't have to mirror your artwork, which is something you typically have to do with sublimation blanks, because you're actually sublimating on the back side. So you saw on my blank, it does look like it's white, but when you sublimate on the back side, it does come out crystal clear, very vibrant, very cool, unique piece.
Got one more question, Caitlin, on the piece.
Okay.
So can you explain again how that was cut? Is the wood piece carbon material that was laser cut, or how was that made?
Yes. So the wood frame was made out of plywood material. So this is a sheet material. We do have solid wood sheet as well, but the example I'm showing you today is a plywood. We cut our frame using the plywood, and then we did backer piece using our Kelly. And then letters were cut out using craft plastic. So I pulled the colors from a couple different craft plastic packs. I've got early spring, the summer, and then our red color here. Showcase. Use adhesive to apply everything together. So the adhesive comes on a roll. I put it on the wood sheet and the plastic floor. I put it in there, and then I created actually a jig and piece everything together. So very cool, unique piece. So I actually have one more cast acrylic to show you. Not sure how much laser has to this. Less than all right. Okay, so this is a cool piece that we made using our cast acrylic. So what we did is we used our yellow material and we cut out or we laser inked our words, masking off and cut out our shape. And then what I did is I had a little bit of clean to do because there was some residue to do from the masking. So I engraved with the masking on top of it. I cleaned up laser engraving using a kneaded eraser, or you could use a regular eraser, leaving masking on top. And then I sprayed some lacquer on top of it, and actually paint fill markers to give it that colored, filled-in look. We have a step-by-step tutorial video on our YouTube channel and on our website that you can find detailed instructions on what exactly the markers I used and the clear lacquer spray paint I used as well. And then we just added the keychain hardware to it. It's completely custom piece here. Do we have any questions on sublimation acrylic or just engraving cast acrylic?
I see our team typing answers frantically, so maybe we'll get to a question here.
Okay. And so we're almost done. We want to flip back to on the laser engraver here.
Just finished. Okay.
Yeah, we've got one more question about acrylic.
Okay.
So can you say again what sizes those come in? Because this is just kind of the smaller sizes. Okay.
Yeah. So these are I don't have sizes written down here, but these do come in I believe 12 by 20 sizes. They also come in these 5 by 10 as well. So these smaller sheets, but we do have larger sheet sizes available on our web. All the 12 by 24 if you have a laser that size material fits in. So there's a wide size selection there online.
Okay, so our laser's done. Job ended, and then for a few more seconds after the job ran, and the for that is for any residuals or smoke or anything like that to be pulled to the laser before you open the lid. So kind of feature there. So open the, and we should be able to push our laser out of the way. We can. So we just take our cup out, and here's our cup. It is a little dirty, which is normal for what it's supposed to happen when it comes here. So what you want to do is just kind of give it a good clean, and a couple different layers for this. What we're going to use is this is one of our spray bottles from our shop. So it's not super pretty, but we're using.
Hey, Chris, while you've got one more question.
Okay.
On this material, is there anything you need to do to prep it before you put it in the laser?
On the tumbler here?
Correct, on the tumbler.
No, don't need to do it. Just put it in the laser. Obviously use that disc if you need to, but there's no prep to it.
So we do carry some steel molds that don't have powder coating on them, and those, if you wanted to laser engrave on those, you would need to use a laser marking Surmark. And then we do carry Surmark Ultra and Lens 6 on our website, and that you would spray on the stainless steel tumbler before in the laser and it leave a black engraving mark rather than the stainless color that we have here today.
So here's our cleaned off tumbler. You can see it's a lot shinier, a lot cleaner. The cleaner I use is called LA Awesome, and it is a very nice cleaner for materials among all these. So
Very nice.
yeah.
So we've got one more tutorial we're gonna go through here, show you how to engrave our saddle notebooks. So we're going to, because we put the rotary attachment in the mode, we're going to use the Beambox Pro over. So I'm going to have Chris go ahead and start sharing screen so we can watch how he's going to be our S. So this material, like I said, is our leather. So we call it our saddle, and it comes in one of different colors. This is our chestnut here. We've got a brown, we've got a gray, black, which is really cool because that one, rather than engraving in black, engraves in silver. So we're just transitioning things around to get set up to do this second.
So hopefully you can see my screen. What I'm going to do now in Beam Studio software is I'm going to load up my second job here. So I'm just going to go to File, give it a second to find it. There we go. Open up our Beambox file. Okay. So that loaded up our artwork that we're going to use on our book here, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this image from BeamO Laser anymore. So I'm going to go to camera mode here. I'm going to hit this little trash can icon here. That's our image. And so what we're going to do quickly, put this in the laser. All right. So with the BeamO, we can also move the laser head of this laser as well. I'll move it right over top of our book. We're going to do our focus process here. I'll point out too, when you use the flatbed and the BeamO laser, it's fixed in place. You can't adjust it. On the Beambox and the Beam Pro, you can actually adjust your bed. There's a knob in here that lets you raise the bed up and down a little bit, which is a nice feature. And a lot of desktop I don't think have that option, but this one does. So something to think about. And that's nice. Of course, fit more thicknesses of material. And you can also have some more kind of wiggle room with your focusing as well.
So the max thickness material that could fit in this bed is 3 inches with the bed move up and down, correct?
I think so. I have to double check that. I think that's correct.
Okay, very cool.
So we're going to leave the bed alone for this case, but we're just going to focus on our focus adjustment here. Process is BeamO. I'm just going to loosen the set screw here. We have our little acrylic spacer tool. We're just going to rotate that down. Just kind of get it over our book. We want the artwork to go. And we're just going to bring it down to where it's just to touch the book. Now, this book has the cover of this book has a little give to it. And so you could really kind of push down on it and make it kind of bottom out, but we don't really need to. Just kind of want it to just touch enough, just so it's because the laser beam doesn't actually physically push on your material. So thing here. So once we got it in place, just put our set screw back. Just finger tight. Don't over tighten it. Then rotate our adjustment, our focus tool up out of the way, and we get sitting just like that. Go ahead and close our lid. Now we're going to take a picture of the bed like we did with the BeamO. Same process again. Go to our picture tool on our Flux software here. We got our 2 lasers. So this time I'm going to select box laser. saying, hey, your image area is bigger with this laser than the BMO. We understand that. We want you to resize it. Now see, we have a larger size to work with, the larger bed. Laser homes itself, and now, just like before, we're going to take our camera tool, going to click and drag over that we want it to take a picture of. Don't need it to be super huge here. Probably about there. About there is good. What the laser do is.
Got one question that came in. Are there any special power requirements for these lasers?
Not really. Just you want standard 100, 110 power outlet. If you want to be safe, maybe on an electrical circuit that doesn't show other appliances that a lot of energy. So your standard 15, 20 amp circuit. You're doing other things like sublimation or other tightening where you're using a heat press. Probably wouldn't name circuit as your heat press. Because you don't want to have it compete for volt. So preferably its own circuit, but within reason, should be okay. There's really no special thing.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
So Chris, while this is finishing up taking its photo, can you tell some of the unique features of the touch screen that we have on both of these lasers?
Yeah, sure. So the camera over top of it at the moment, but like I was before, when your job's running, you can actually see your job on the screen, just like you see it on your computer. It'll have a version of that right on the touch screen. So there's no confusion as to what's running while it's running. It tells you, how long the job's running, how much time is left before the job is done. You got your basic functions of the job, pausing it. You can adjust power and speed as well on here. Works a little differently than what in the software, but you can't adjust it on the fly. And then from kind of a control feature standpoint from the laser itself, you do have some options to set it up on your Wi-Fi network, Ethernet network, or whatever you're using to connect it. You can do some basic set it and forget it set for the laser. There's a maintenance mode that's really nice though, where once you go into that, you can actually control everything that the laser does. You can manually med, and you can test fire, test pulse to kind of check make sure everything's good there. And you can also test the of the laser, like the cooling feature. You can turn it off, or the air pump. You can turn it on and off to make sure it's functioning properly.
I think once we get this laser started, if you wanted to, we could show some of those features in the other laser while this one starts the engraving process.
Yep, sounds good. Okay, so
we do have before you get started, one more question about the camera feature.
Okay.
So if we were to laser multiple projects material, would you have to retake the picture each time? So let's say you wanted to do a couple of notebooks.
That's a good question.
You don't need to retake the picture unless you move something on the bed.
Yeah.
So the notebooks and they're in a different position, you might make sure. But if nothing moves, we create a jig where you can put your notebooks in the exact place every single time and just do quick changeovers, jobs. There's really no reason to take a picture if you don't want to. All right. Back here on our software. I'm going to back out of the camera mode. And now I can just activate work, and you can see it just hovers right over top of our notebook there. Just going to kind of position it right where I want it, and I think about there. So same process as the BMO. I'm going to jump over to our settings here. This artwork takes a little longer to kind of set because there's a lot more on as far as detail goes. So it takes the computer to think about it. So give that just a second to catch up here. But we're just going to set settings just like we did before. Obviously, we don't have the blue line. We're not running right now. Which, if we were running rotary Beambox or Beambox Pro, it would be set up just with that rotary itself. All right. So this guy, I'm going to run a little bit higher power, and the reason I'm running a little bit higher is because a lower resolution or a lower setting, so we can get away with a little bit more because the beam's not going to be quite as common with the slight lower. I shouldn't say lower, but it's the medium resolution set for a particular job. And then we'll set our speed about 175 millimeters per second. Happy with that? We'll go ahead to the go button. It's the BeamBot laser. Sometimes the software compile everything together and process things. So with larger artwork, more complex artwork, it might take a little longer to kind of go through and render it. So that's what we're seeing here. All right. Kind of our screen, our preview screen. If we're happy with that, we can just hit this and going. So we have another filtration unit on this side. Just have to change between two lasers here. Real quick.
So we'll let that run while we're doing that. First, if you wanted to do about some of the unique features, and you can hear on the screen, they're similar on both.
Yeah. The layout interface is almost identical, with just very minor differences. All right, thanks, George.
Hey, no problem. Chris? There we go. We're good. Yeah. Good.
All right, so the screen does go to sleep after a while. Just kind of power save mode makes it last a little longer. It's back out of that. So this is our main screen. Kind of talking about when we were the settings I was talking about before. I kind of wanted to maintenance mode or maintain mode. They call it. Just for that. The laser itself, and then you get this control panel here. It's nice. It's when you first you should do this periodically, like alignment of the laser, like make sure everything's aligned. And what I mean by alignment is the laser beam coming the tube in the back of the laser. It has to go a couple of mirrors and then alternates the head side. So the laser beam kind of ricochets, off of the mirrors and down into the focus lens of the laser head. So when we're talking about alignment, when the laser head moves around, that laser beam ideally needs to be hit roughly the center area of the opening of the head of the laser head to have the ideal amount of the laser getting to the product. We can test that kind of thing in here, and you can use these settings to manually move the head if you want. In real small increments, larger ones, and you can have it max out on any of the dimensions where you're make sure it's covering.
Hang on 1 second here. We lost our camera.
We do have one point. We're working through some of our techniques here.
Yeah,
Can you engrave ceramic or glass? Or could you maybe overview of all you could engrave?
Oh, you could engrave?
But we'll start with you engrave ceramic or glass.
Short answer is, however, if you want, like for in the instance of like glass, you can do kind of the traditional engraving procedures that you would do on other lasers. Maybe everybody's familiar with that or something. But if you wanted to get contrasting mark, you want to look into something like Surmark Ultra spray, and you can laser engrave the Surmark on glass or tile with this laser and get contrasting image on those images.
And we actually have how-to videos that you helped us create
Yeah.
those different materials.
Yeah. So back on.
We are back on.
Awesome. So yeah, in this control panel here, like I said, you can head around and we test pulse. But we have some other buttons down here where we can turn things on and off as well. Like we can turn on and off lights. If we wanted to have like the laser head itself has its own light. There's a bed light that Lumix, the whole bed. We can turn those on and off if we don't want to use those. These other buttons here, we can test the motors. We have the motors, the air pump or the air assist, pump for the water coolant. We can turn on and off, which is very handy just to check to make sure that the systems are functioning properly. But also going back to kind of what we were talking about doing, maintaining your cooling system specifically. We can turn off to circulate new water or new fluid through the system, and kind of work out air bubbles and things like that. So a lot of uses here that are really nice from a maintenance standpoint. You also have here, it'll tell you kind of the temperature of the laser tube as well. Also, if the temperature kind of gets too hot, and like especially when you're running it, it should give you like a heat warning. That'd be an indication. You need to check the pump, make sure it's functioning, or make sure that you have enough heat in there. When it's circulate, there needs to be a sufficient amount of fluid to keep that laser cool. That's mainly what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you guys the maintenance. Your network. What's that?
We talked about it before we started. How often or need to change your laser tube and important?
Yes. So the laser tube, laser tube technology is a little bit different than like maybe traditional CO2 laser tubes. They're more industrial. The laser tubies, they're not going to last quite as long as like an industrial size laser would. And of course, your mileage may be a little tube when depending on how you're running it. You run it 5, 6, 7 days a week for 8 hours a day. You're going to do a tube faster than if you were running it a couple times a week, every other something like that. So you do want to keep an eye on your laser tube efficiency, and then you'll notice having an issue with the laser tube. You'll see evidence of that most likely in the engraving results on your projects. They likely are very faded, or they might be faded, or they might appear to like cut after a while and start strong, and then as it progresses its way down, it may start to fade out and get real light. And doing that on all parts of it, that's an indication that maybe the laser tube is starting to lose its efficiency. Okay. But the nice thing is though, the laser tubes, like industrial sized lasers, the laser nodes are like thousands of dollars to replace. The laser tubes and minis are just a couple $100. Really, they're much cheaper, and not even go for like the average. So, if your laser tubes go out, it's not the end of the world, and it shouldn't break the bank too much to replace it.
Oh, we interrupted you. You were about to say else there.
I was just kind of talking more about these settings here. Like we have machine settings here. We have set and forget settings. Our firmware version. Some information about the inner workings of the laser here. By the way, if you do need to do firmware updates, this do it on its own without a computer. It's connected to a network of some kind. It's a really nice feature. So just kind of things like that. There. Network setup here. This is where you can go and see your IP address for your network. The MAC address is there as well. You can also use this to connect or reconnect to your local network if you need to, if you get interrupted or offline. And then you'll notice this button here says app. So bring up a code. So there's actually a version of the Beam Studio software. They call it Go. And if you click, you get this QR code. You can use your phone or tablet or device, whatever device you have. Take a picture of that. Will prompt you then to open up. It'll prompt you to install all the Beam Go software. Full disclosure, tried the Beam Go software myself on my phone or anything like that. But give you most functionality that you see in the Beam Studio software. So that's in a nutshell, kind of the controls of the laser. Yep.
So we've got a minute left on this. So let's go ahead and turn that camera back on. Finish up engraving this saddle So we're at 30 seconds there. You can see the smoke coming off of the saddle as it's in gradient. It's going straight towards the back, towards the fan that is going, and then it's filtering through our vocal unit here.
Going back more about whether to use a unit or not, you do get additional air draw from a filter unit. So it only uses the laser to get that smoke out of the filter. So I think that's one more benefit to those filter units.
Seconds here.
You know who the book belongs to, right?
I don't know whose initials that could be on
I
there.
have no idea. All right. So again, fan just for a minute to get any residual smoke and fume out. I think we're safe enough anyway. And here's our finished product.
So as you can see how and Chris, that engraving market, how dark that came out.
Yeah, lots of contrast. That's the laser capable of capturing those really small, fine details. And with the right settings, you'll capture all that, still maintaining good contrast even in the very small, minute areas of your artwork.
Very cool. Very cool. So that's everything I have to show you here today. So we've done a couple different demos here for you. And we also have a giveaway. So we're going to do 50% off. We have a 15% off promo code off of all the consumable or blank sheet materials that you hear today. Okay. So we have, and Jackie's going to announce it for us.
Our winner is Karen Adler. So congratulations.
Karen.
Karen will be reaching out to you after the webinar to send you that promo code. Do we have any additional questions?
I think we're good.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining us. And you can find everything we talked about here today, including the folders at johnsonplastics.com. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.